I don't know what it is, but what it is that you have to do your job, and they know their jobs, and then you have to make the right decisions. And they didn't make the right decision. We didn't react quick enough to avoid this situation. On decision making, we have to make better decisions, and it's our strength. And you saw again how we score from counters. We can be such a massive threat, and we have seen today again an example how we, with tempo, we can beat our opponents. We are unstoppable, but we have to read when to keep the ball, and especially when you are winning, then keep the ball and pass and move and switch the play instead of giving the ball away or going into only long balls. But bring the ball to opponent's half, keep passing. Discourage the opponent, but then if you have to defend, you have to do it proper, and we make that the wrong decisions, and on individual errors you lose the game. But that is very frustrating if you're playing such a good game.
Okay, where to begin? So part of me, LME, thinks it's a good thing. They're right back into action on Sunday, trying to kind of rectify the wrongs. But then they've got Liverpool now. They beat them in the FA Cup recently. They've beaten them more recently as well in the league prior to that. But Liverpool have won 5-0 there 2.5 years ago. So normally I'd ask you a question as if to say, where do you want to start? But we have to start at Stamford Bridge. What went wrong?
First of all, that game was insanity. It was the Premier League football version of Heath Ledger's Joker's head popping out of the police car window in Batman. It was just insane. So what went wrong? You can go either way, MD, either with Chelsea Football Club, which are not right now a sustainable, decently consistent squad under Mauricio Pochettino, as the table has shown, against a Manchester United side who, even though are better in the table, still in the FA Cup, also show a lot of weaknesses. But from a Manchester United perspective, 28 shots conceded, that's 107 total in the last 4 matches. And they were leading this game, despite all of that, they were leading this game in stoppage time. And all they had to do, as Erik Ten Hag said, was just be smart, keep the ball, possession, control, and it all just completely fell apart. And Erik Ten Hag has mentioned that individual errors cost them this game. But I ask this to Erik Ten Hag, MD, if every individual error, every error, first of all, is individual. It, like how it happens, comes down to either focus or collective focus, depending what you're seeing. And yesterday was an abomination of how you mess this up as a football club. And that all falls down to Erik Ten Hag, because guess what? This kind of similar pattern happened against Brentford as well. So this is not just like a one-off. And when you are in this situation, I mean, commendable to come back from 2-0 down, bring it back, and then 3-2. But when you're in a situation and you're in stoppage time, ready to just kill this game off, you literally did everything possible to give away the goal. And that corner, by the way, the last goal by Cole Palmer, which, by the way, tremendous performance from him once again. But how, like, please, Manchester United fans, Erik Ten Hag, anybody with the club, look at the tape of how you defended that corner. It was amateurish. It was horrific. And they deserve everything. So, yes, Erik Ten Hag can talk about individual errors as much as he wants, but it all falls down to him. And now comes Liverpool Football Club. So we'll have to see what happens. But it was horrific from Man United yesterday, but it was amazing for the neutral, obviously.
Let's rewind the clock a little bit. Before the corner that led to Cole Palmer's hat-trick and led to Chelsea winning, they'd just conceded a penalty. They'd just conceded an equaliser from that. They start the game, Manchester United. So again, it's keep the ball, keep a point. It's not what you're after. But Chelsea ended up with either a 5-on-4, a 4-on-3, or a 4-on-4. And it looked, they had bodies. They went the wrong way. They went left instead of going right. Now, they went left. The deflected shot had Onana scrambling and went behind, and you thought, oh, United are lucky there. They could have lost this game. Then they did from that. Now, it's important because it's easy for a pile-in on Manchester United or any top team when they're struggling. It's easy just to kick them while they're down. Yes, they've got injuries. Yes, they made a few changes as well. I don't think that's any excuse whatsoever for what we saw, because you've got guys like McTominay and others that have come on. It's not like you're bringing on a competition winner from the Manchester Evening News to go and defend. That wasn't good enough. So how, in the short space of time, 72 hours, in fact, even less than that, between the two games at Chelsea and at home to Liverpool, how does Erik Ten Hag suddenly flip the switch? I'm not sure you flip it that way, or toss the coin, or do whatever he needs to do to make sure that there's focus and those individual errors don't happen?
I think it's all down to the fundamentals. And I know that sounds so simplistic in the answer, but really, when you watch Manchester United, specifically throughout this season, the fundamentals are not there. As you mentioned, the decision-making from Manchester United yesterday was horrific, not to mention the work that they were doing off the ball. When you play Liverpool Football Club, who, by the way, I know we're going to get into it, and I want your thoughts on this one as well. I see a team as well that even though they beat Sheffield United, they didn't look that great. So there is an opportunity to do something. So the most important thing, first of all, right, is to control that midfield, because once Chelsea kept coming at you in the final third, there were gaps, mountains, Grand Canyon openings for Chelsea to just penetrate, specifically once the ball was lost. Liverpool's going to do the exact same thing. So what do you do here? Do you start Scott McTominay, making sure that you strengthen that midfield? Do you perhaps make sure that Marcus Rashford, if he starts, also commits defensively? That hasn't been the case this season. Garnacho can be wonderful, but he can also be erratic. So all these fundamental things need to make sure that they're essentially consistently proven against Liverpool. Keep the ball is the most important thing. And when you're defending a set piece, MD, for crying out loud, do your job. I mean, what do you think they need to do? Because at this point, we're talking about a team in April. This isn't November. This isn't like January after the Christmas break, even though there isn't one. This isn't after the February break. This is April, and there's no more matches left. So what else can you do? You've got to go back to the fundamentals, surely.
I don't know if they're buying into what Erik Ten Hag's saying, because if they are, they would focus and they wouldn't switch off. Now, Casemiro yesterday, when they were 2-0 down, let's not forget about this. Let's not talk about them when they were 3-2 up, because Erik Ten Hag's right. They scored good breakaway goals. They scored excellent finishes. Good ball in from Anthony for...
He was good once again.
Yeah, but once in a blue moon isn't enough. I mean, he's still got this tag as a YouTube footballer. Yes, he's finally got his assist, but his price tag has not helped him.
So are you blaming Erik Ten Hag more than the individuals?
This is a blame culture that we live in. So everybody's got to take a share of the blame. Erik Ten Hag might be doing all he is, but are the players listening to him? If you're Marcus Rashford and you're dropped, can he have any real complaints that he's been dropped this season? No, not really. But then Erik Ten Hag says, okay, he's not been dropped, but we want him to come on for the last half hour or whatever and to have an impact. Right, it's a squad game here, but it's a culmination of things. The problem they have got now is they've got 3 days, now 2 days, to fix the issues. It ain't going to be fixed. So if they lose against Liverpool on Sunday, regardless of what happens to Spurs and Villa, and even if it's the top 5 that get into the Champions League next season, United aren't getting top 5, are they?
No, I had them dead already before the Liverpool game. And if they lose to Liverpool, 100%. I mean, Sheffield United have allowed more shots against per game this season than United. That's it. United is the next one after that. And if you're trying to get the Champions League, including a 5th place spot with those kind of statistics, forget about it. And I think that if you don't get anything out of Liverpool, and I'm talking maybe even a victory, because you're 11 points away from Aston Villa in 4th place, 9 points away from Tottenham in 5th place. You still got the FA Cup semi-finals to play. You still got to play Arsenal. You still got to play Newcastle. And even the last game of the season away at Brighton, that could be Roberto De Zerbi's final game with Brighton. We don't know. But, going away in the final day of the season is never easy for the opposing player. There's no way it's happening. So here's a question to you, first of all, do you think they're going to get anything out of Liverpool? Second of all, surely this is it. That game yesterday surely was curtains for Erik Ten Hag, no?
Erik Ten Hag can't continue next season, because it's not just a case of let's have a turnover of players. Let's get 10 in and we'll get 10 out. You can't do that. The wages that these Manchester United players are on, the contracts that these players are on, this needs right from the top. You've started to see with the investment now of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, with David Brailsford coming in as well. You're starting to see things happen. A lot of talk about what's going to happen next season as well. That cannot continue with Erik Ten Hag at the helm. Is Erik Ten Hag a bad coach? No. He might be the right coach for Manchester United, but not at this time. So it's in his best interests if he goes somewhere else. And for me, it's in Manchester United's best interests if Manchester United have a new coach next season who comes in with fresh ideas, whether it's ruthless or whatever it is. They need change.